Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map, and this is yet another beautiful episode in my series Inspired Tarot Map. And this time I'm hosting Monica, the creator of the beautiful essence, Oracle of Essences. And Monica is a healer, she's a teacher, she is a healer of many modalities, and also the creatrix of this beautiful oracle. So without further ado, hello Monica, very nice to have you as a guest in my channel on this series. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure indeed to be here, and how amazing that technology allows us to do this.
I know, it's so beautiful. Like Monica lives in Australia, if you guys don't know. I'm in Poland, if you guys don't know. So yeah, exactly. Technology is amazing for us to just catch up, have a cuppa, and hopefully have an inspiring chat for you as well, and for you guys to join in. So Monica, I always start those interviews with the question about heritage and ancestry, just because I'm interested in it, and I think, we don't appear out of nowhere. So could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, what your lineage is, where you live now, and just short story of you?
Nice. Well, it's an interesting story because my parents are Italians and they moved to Venezuela in the 50s. And they met in Venezuela, they had kids in Venezuela, and then when I turned 26, I decided to move to Australia. My partner is Australian, and so my kids have an Australian father and a Venezuelan mom. I do speak Italian as well as Spanish and English. And my father is from the south of Italy, and my mom is from the north of Italy. And the mix, it's now must be more common, but when they got married, it was very uncommon to have someone from the north and someone from the south to get together. So for us kids, it's always fun to tell Italians where we are from and what we have been up to.
Wow, that's an interesting story. So we were talking briefly, and you said like you may be moving to Europe, then you would be moving to Italy. That's would be the idea, or?
Yeah, the idea is that we do a little bit of Italy and a little bit of Spain. So that it's a family dream that one day we can live for 1 or 2 years in Europe, and my kids can learn my mother languages, which is Spanish and Italian, all in 1 or 2 years.
Nice. So do you still have family in Italy?
I do have family in Italy, and I have family in Venezuela.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always love those stories, when people are like come from different countries and the parents are from different countries, like for your kids now. I always find it so cool. I'm curious. I have to do this, the test for my DNA, because I think I'm just Polish and let's say it once again, and Polish. But maybe I'll be surprised. Who knows? I don't know. So, Monica, can you tell us a little bit about just your healing journey? Because I looked at your website and I saw that you use a lot of modalities in your healing, and you use essential oils, you use massage, you use spiritual healing, you use cards. Can you tell us a little bit how your healing journey has started, and maybe in the background how divination, if you think of cards as divination, how did it weave its way, into your healing practice, if you at all use cards in your healing practice?
Well, my spiritual journey actually started with tarot cards when I was 18 years old. And then all the other modalities have been added to my Pandora box as I grow in my spiritual journey. I think divination is an amazing tool for counseling. And it's a counseling that it can look deeper than what the person thinks, and it can look deeper than what the person might be able and ready to share. So I find that it's an excellent tool to start my healings. So to break the ice, when you come and see me, I start always with at least few cards. Even if you haven't requested for a reading, for me, it's kind of a map of where we are gonna go in this healing, and it gives me a little bit of insight on what we need to work on. I do every healing it's different, and I do have different modalities. I have been trained in past life regressions. I'm a Reiki master. I have trained in hypnotherapy. I have trained in access bars. I do aroma touch. I have share with a lot of my colleagues different techniques, and so they have told me different things. And one of those that I'm not officially trained, but I have been practicing a lot of it, it's dowsing. And instead of dowsing with a pendulum, I use a dowsing rod, and that has been a great tool for my healings, as well as oracle cards and
So
tarot
with this
cards.
dowsing rod, does it can you measure like the size of the aura? Does it change when you approach the aura? Because I saw someone doing it like a demonstration. They were, you know, like coming towards a person and with this dowsing rod and checking where the aura kind of ends, and then they doing like the person did something, let's say, I don't know, meditated on a rose or something, and then the aura was kind of growing, and then the dowsing rod was showing it as well. Does it work like this? Can you say a little bit more about it, because I don't really know much?
Yes, dowsing, you can do that. Basically, it's just a tool to measure energy. And it's a tool to go into people's etheric field and to have access to the answers of people's Akashic records, if you want to call it that way, or subconscious, joke DNA, etheric field. So this is how what my dowsing rod looks like. This one was specifically made for me. It has a wooden handle that it's rough. It's just like a piece of tree. Then it has this that allows it to move freely, and it has a fluoride at the end of it. So it's copper, and with copper I can measure energy. And if you see the yes and the no as a measurement of like positive or negative energy, then a yes and a no can be measured. So we usually ask yes or no questions, but it's very accurate. And just with yes and no, they can direct me to amazing things and amazing books and amazing information. So I never know where I'm going to go when I start a dowsing session. And it's all guided and all directed and all through asking questions. And with practice, you start asking the right questions. And also I use my intuition to listen, and that gives me kind of an extra, I guess, an advantage with other people that uses dowsing without having clairaudience, because I can hear they propose a question and then I ask the question and then we go from there, which is great. So I use any energy modality that I have been trained on. I use dowsing and I use tarot and oracle in my practice.
So what was your first tarot deck? Was it Rider-Waite-Smith or?
Well, actually, I got it right here because I wanted to show everyone this was my
Oh,
first tarot deck.
so the
And it
Marseille,
was
the tarot de
interesting.
Marseille.
It was great because I was told that by my tarot teacher, you cannot buy your own tarot deck. So one day, and I studied tarot all hidden from my family and my parents. So I will tell them, oh, I'm going to hang around with my friends, and I will do tarot lessons for 12 months. I train in tarot. And a numerologist came and knocked on my door. It was an old lady. I have never seen her, and I saw her just that one time in my life. She just came, knocking my door and said, Monica, I am here. I have been sent because I'm going to take you to buy your first tarot deck. Do you have any money? Yep. Okay, jump in the car and let's go. And she chose this for me. And so this is what I use for years and years and years. It's a little bit like the tarot of Marseilles. But after I practice a lot of tarot and I did a lot of readings. I found the amazing Revelations tarot. Oh, and I have been in love ever since. So I have been using this same deck for about 10 years. I find that with oracle decks, you can change and swap and use any oracle decks, but tarot, it's I don't know, you find that love for one deck and you stick with it for many, many, many years. As with oracles, I grow of decks, and then they speak to me, and then they stop talking to me, and then they another deck starts speaking to me. So I have chosen few of my favorite cards to show you. The Start, for example, um, because obviously who doesn't like the Start? And they have um, upside downs too, which is just fantastic. Then the Ace of Pentacles. Of course, we all like success in our life. This is me in the tarot. So the Queen of Cups, and I love it. This is the Two of Cups or the Lovers. So you can see it talks to me very much. The world, because I'm a traveler and I love traveling. I have been to 50 countries. I love traveling. And Death, which is usually an ugly card. This one is so pretty because it's a Shiva, and then you can have the rebirth, you know. So I really, really, really like the Revelations tarot, and I have been using this deck for many years.
Wow, yeah, I know this deck, but I'm actually the opposite to you. I'm like switching and swapping. I could never just get fixed on one tarot deck, unfortunately. Sometimes, maybe unfortunately, sometimes not. I mix tarot decks. In my readings, I use, yeah, like, 2, 3 tarot decks, 7 oracle decks. I'm just like throwing it all out there. But I always, whenever I see people like you, being just like so connected to one deck, I kind of nearly feel jealous. Like I'm thinking, why can't I just connect to one deck? Because I just love art too much, I think. What star sign are you? Because you seem like a fire sign as well, but I'm not sure. Like, what star sign are you?
I am a Scorpion,
Are you a
but I am a
Scorpion?
Scorpion on the last day. So I am, for some people, I'm a Sagittarius, but I feel I'm a Scorpion in
Yeah.
many ways. I'm definitely a water. There is a lot of water in me.
Do you know what your ascendant is or your moon?
It's Capricorn.
Capricorn ascendant.
Yes.
Yeah. And moon, do you know?
I do know, but I don't
Can't
remember at the
remember now.
moment.
Yeah, I'm just curious because sometimes
Taurus. Taurus.
Taurus. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Capricorn, Taurus, and Scorpio. Nice. But Scorpio is a fixed energy. Taurus moon is a fixed energy. So you can see sometimes this like inclination maybe to, hold on to things for longer. I'm like all kind of cardinal and mutable, change, quickly go and shift. So I think just this lifetime, holding on to one deck is just not for me, but I'm really appreciative because I think you grow into energetically connecting with this tool, and it just grows on power, and it can be very useful, and it just so well, it like a good friend, with whom you talk all the time. So it's beautiful. So now you're using this Revelations tarot for like it's your main deck in tarot, yeah?
Yes, it is, but I agree with you. Like although I don't change tarots, I change oracles all the time, and I have over 50 decks that I just absolutely love. The 50 decks are the ones that I really love because the decks that don't speak to me, I just kind of gift them. So if I buy a deck and it really doesn't resonate with me, then I just give it away to my students, to my clients. I just share the love to someone that really speaks. And I am like you, like I can't believe that there is, like, for example, in the Oracle of the Essences, 56 works of art in this little pack. It's just like unbelievable to me that there is so much art and I can have access to so much beauty and so much work in such a tiny, compact way. it's amazing. And someone was asking me the other day, like, how do you, I had a client that had never had a reading before. I call them virgins, and I'm pretty good with the virgin. They like me. And she was saying, how can you see all that from those cards? And I'm like, well, they just come alive. It's like all of a sudden they start moving to me. But I am like, you know how you said that you were jealous of people that uses just one deck? I'm jealous of when I go for a reading and they take one card out and they give me like an hour reading with one card. I'm like, how do you do that? I have my table, it's filled with cards. By the time you have finished the hour with me, I just love to get like, oh, you have one question? That's 10 cards rather than just one.
I know there's so many ways, hey, and everybody finds the kind of appropriate way for them to connect and to show. I just think I'm like, I love, like you, just seeing art. For me, reading with one card, amazing, you know, beautiful skill, but like I love being influenced by images. I just, as a client or as a reader, I love to give this rich fucking experience of, like, you know, artwork and color, and oh, it just gives me, I don't know, I love it. I'm excited. I know that the energy is flowing there for me, so this is definitely a way for me to do it. And I think also clients, you know, they kind of they resonate with readers. They know where to go. They just know there's this internal compass. You always draw people whom you can help, and people who pick you, probably they know why they're picking you, even if it's subconscious, if it's not like conscious. If somebody asks them, you know, why did you pick Monica, sometimes they might not know why. They read something about you, or they heard about you, like they heard maybe about 5 other readers, but it's you they pick, and that just works somehow. Beautiful kind of exchange of energy when the healing can happen, actually. So it's really lovely like this. So yeah, if we right now on this beautiful oracle deck that you created, and I seen it on Instagram, I think first. I can't even remember how it come into, like, maybe because I love essential oils, and I was going through like essential oil revival maybe a year ago, and then since then I'm like really also like using them, and I love herbs. So I think maybe I was looking for herbal oracles or something, and your deck popped up, and I thought, wow, somebody did essential oil oracle. That was so amazing. So, you know, when I approached you, if you want to take a part in this interview, and you graciously agreed, I also saw, oh my God, this is not like 30 card oracle, thank God, because I love 30 cards. But, you know, for oracle deck, you always feel like it's just not enough. So I'm like, yes, 56 cards. Also, they look beautiful. The work that went into this oracle, I can see it's amazing, you know, how it's done, the gilding, this old gold, the not shine, the beautiful paper, no lamination, no frames. It's like a dream of most of tarot community, which I'm part of, and I know what we like. We don't like frames, we don't like shiny cards, we don't like, you know, like shitty paper, which is very thin. They're flexible, but they feel like, you know, like good cardstock. They're not thin, they're not going to rip. Amazing backwards and beautiful artwork. So what has prompted you to even think of like creating a deck? Can you tell us a little bit more about how it came to life?
Yes, this is a very interesting story because I was really into the journey of therapeutic grade essential oils, like very, very high quality essential oils. And I was in a class about essential oils, and the lady that was teaching the class says, yeah, because frankincense is the king of the oils. And woof, I saw a tarot card. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's interesting. Then she goes, and myrrh is the queen of, and woof, I saw another tarot card. And as she was talking about oils, I just kept seeing tarot cards and oracle cards. And I was like, wow. And I was sitting next to a friend who calls herself a Celtic shaman. She's English, who lives in Australia, and she does a lot of herbs, and she's into essential oils, a lot of drums. She creates her own drums. She's beautiful, a beautiful Celtic shaman. And I tell her, it's like, wow, I think I'm going to create a deck for essential oils. And she looks at me and she goes, like, oh, did you hear that too? And I'm like, yes, I did. And so we were super excited. And I said, well, if we both heard the message, let's do it together. And she can draw. And I said, well, you draw. I cannot draw, but I have a lot of experience with tarot and printing and graphic design. And she said, yep, let's see how we go. So then I couldn't get the idea out of my mind. And I contacted her a couple of weeks later and I said, look, I'm doing it. I'm ready. And she's like, I thought about it and the message, I think it was for you. It is not my call, but I think it's your call. And she was the first client when the Oracle of the Essences was released. She was the first one that purchased a deck because she was so excited because she was there when the idea was born. Um, I have a background in printing and marketing and advertising, and I have a master's degree in creativity. So I have always been in printing, and I have been reading tarot for 20 years. So I knew how I wanted it in every sense of the way. So it's amazing that you can pick up all that, my experience with tarot, but also my experience with printing and graphic design. It is actually a team of people doing this. So I had the pleasure to work with 8 different artists. 6 of them are here in Australia and 2 of them are in Venezuela. And they are all fascinating and beautiful. I obviously picked them because I looked at the art and I thought like, wow, we must work together. And they agreed to work with me. I also had an editor because English is my third language. So I needed someone to help me with the editing. And I had a graphic designer to help me with the book because I'm not. My graphic designing skills are very basic. So it's a team of about 11 people to create this deck. And I am so grateful for each one of those people. And they are so grateful to have been part of this project because every time I send anyone a brief, if I send a brief to one to the artist, like, yep, this is how the image needs to be, this color, this needs to be here, this needs to be there, and they will go like, wow, that is what I'm going through in my life at the moment. So they experience each card with the magic. I picked each artist. So I matched the card with the artist with 1,000. So I matched specifically each artist with the cards that they were going to draw. And also the editor was getting just little bits of drops of the book. She didn't get the book all at once to start with. She got little drops here and there. And she was like, wow, I can't believe you just sent me this. And so we all lived the Oracle of the Essences while the Oracle of the Essences was being created, which is amazing. If people ask me, how does that work? I don't know. I don't have the answer. And, it's magic. I do believe in magic. And it was a magical 12 months for me and for the whole team.
Yeah, it's actually really, we hear it very often, that when tarot decks are being created or oracle decks are being created or things like this are happening, that people who create the archetypes live them. Like sometimes people paint tower card, and they have experiences exactly like you're saying, confirming that energy in their life. So somehow like you go through the whole process. It's amazing. So with this oracle, it took you 12 months, you said? Yeah, around a year? Yeah, around a year to
Yes.
create it. And how did you pick the plants? Also with dowsing, which ones you wanted to, like essential oils, which one you wanted to include, or were they like, I don't know, were you using them, or how did you pick the cards?
They are essential oils that I use and that I have and that I could sit and meditate with. So all of those oils I have, and I just sat with the oil in meditation and smelt it as I was writing it and smelt it as I was visualizing it. Some essences came to me very easily, and I could see that as soon as I opened the bottle and smelled it, I could see the essence. Some of them took more work. Surprisingly, cinnamon, it's one of my favorite spices. No, cinnamon, it's my favorite spice. And if you look at cinnamon and scorpion, and my fire, because you think that I'm a fire sign, it's because I have a lot of fire. So if you think of cinnamon and scorpion and all the fire that I bring from the South American background and my shamanism, you wouldn't think that cinnamon was one that took about 3 drawings, that I wasn't happy with the drawing, I wasn't happy with the writing. Cinnamon was like, what is happening? And cinnamon, it's creativity too, which is, I am extremely creative. Creativity is my strength, number one. And it took a lot of goals for cinnamon,
Wow.
which is...
But sometimes I think when we're too close to something, to ourselves, that's when it's somehow, I don't know, like you think it should be the easiest, and it turns out it's like the hardest to portray or to speak about ourselves sometimes, or like to kind of, I don't know why it happens, but yeah, I can totally imagine that it could be it should be the easiest. And it's like, what? Yeah, that's true. So yeah, go.
Sorry, I just wanted to add that the Oracle, it got released as 56 cards, but the Oracle grows every year. So this year we have 6 new essences, and next year we will probably have another 6 new essences. I will call it, so I grow a little bit every year, the Oracle, as the editions. So there has been a second edition released not long ago, and probably there will be a third edition by the end of this year, released as well, or the start of next year. So it grows a little bit, but probably until I feel that it will be enough. It will be enough, because I don't know if you find the same, but some decks are so big and so bulky that they are hard to shuffle, that they are hard to play with, and too many cards. So probably I wouldn't like to make it more than an Oracle deck. So I'll probably cap it in anything between 70 and 80 cards, but the deck grows a little bit every year.
Yeah, and were you thinking about doing just extension packs for people who purchased, let's say, the Oracle without the extras, and they wouldn't want to purchase another whole deck, because they already have a deck? Would you sell also the extensions packs?
I have expansion packs.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. And then comes just the 6 cards with the new booklet.
Yeah.
And it is a more affordable way to for people to have the new cards, but also to ship, because obviously they don't have the whole weight of the whole deck, and so it's much cheaper to ship around the world. And yeah, but they need the new book, because obviously the new book it's updated. So yeah, it's a forever growing deck.
Yeah, that's really cool. I just asked because I know that probably people would want to know if they have to purchase, the second deck to get the extensions, or just the extensions themselves. So that's very good. Also, can you tell us a little bit more about the Oracle? Like, how do you use it? Do you just use it like normal Oracle? You pull the oil. Like, how do you use it in your practice? Like, what do you do? Tell us.
Well, before the Oracle, we had 3 ways to connect with essential oils, and that is aromatically, so through a diffuser, or through a cotton ball, just a spray bottle, and that any scent that gets through our senses and through our limbic system into our brain, that will react with the memory and the emotion center of the body immediately, within seconds. Then we also have the topical way of using essential oils, and that can take anywhere between 5 to 20 minutes, because once essential oils touch your skin and they penetrate your body and they start interacting with blood and your cells, it takes around 20 minutes for them to go through your body about twice until they get into your liver, and then they get processed by the liver, and then they get out of the body. There is also, if you have very good quality essential oils, you can take them internally, which for me, I take essential oils internally just when I am sick and I need that extra help. And yeah, I kind of created a new way, which I call connectively. So even if you don't have the essential oil, the Oracle deck is created with the principle that everything has the counterpart in the spiritual world. We know that. We know that everything is created first in the etheric and the spiritual world. So if we think of Roman chamomile, for example, of chamomile, when we connect with that energy, it's like opening the window of this etheric field that chamomile it's created from. And so when I am with the Roman chamomile oracle card, I can have access to that Akashic record, if you will, of Roman chamomile. However, if you have the plant, the tea, or the essential oil at hand, I will just simply have a smell, or I will create a blend, which is great. And in this deck, because it's the oracle of the essences, and it's you can use it with essential oils if you wish to, the spreads are called blends. So if I'm want to add something to my diffuser, I will ask, what is the best blend I can create today? And then I will have, well, arborvitae, sandalwood, and spikenard. And then I will have few drops of each of these essential oil into my diffuser, and I will diffuse that. Or I can create a roller bottle if I have a bigger vision, a bigger aspiration that I'm working on. Well, I want to achieve this. What is the best plan for me to achieve that? So it's something that you might have to use regularly. Then I create a roller bottle with the essential oils and a fractionated coconut oil or olive oil or almond oil, whatever carrier oil you like, and use that daily.
Wow, that's so cool. That I love the idea of, connecting the practical and magical use with the tarot, with the oracle cards, so you can actually use them like this. I just wanted to mention also the essential oils that you just pulled. It's pretty empowered pull with the sandalwood, spikenard, and abriva. What? How do you say that? Abriva. I don't know how that smells.
Oh, well, I said arborvitae, but
Arborvitae,
I
yeah,
don't really know the right pronunciation. It's a beautiful pine tree. It's actually, it's a pine, it's a, it's a fir that grows nice and high and pointy. So it's a fir, but interestingly enough, it smells to me like chewing gum. And that is so interesting for me, that someone can smell something in a completely different way than you. And a lot of spiritual teachers like to include the sense of smell into clairsentience. There are 4 different clairs: claricognizance, clairvoyancy, clairsentience,
okay,
and clairaudience. I think that the sense of smell, it's a complete different layer. Like how many times I have been doing a reading and all of a sudden I get this smell of something. And I just have to say that to the client. Or a lot of mediums talk about, wow, I can smell the cigarette smoke of Uncle Peter that passed away, or a lot of people that has angelic encounters, like Mother Mary smells like roses. And a lot of people in the world and around the world agrees that Mother Mary has this flower scent. And so you can smell Mother Mary before you see her, or before you feel her, or before you know she is there. So to me, it's a completely different sense. And I wanted to bring that to life. And it is amazing when you can smell something before it happens. And I tell my students, if something smells fishy, run away from that. Because if it smells fishy, it's not for you. And in relationships, we often get attracted to the smell of our partners. We are not with someone that we don't like the smell of them. So smells are an incredible part of our physiology, but also of our etheric uh, bodies and our spirit bodies.
It's so true. I think nothing can take you back in like memory lane. Like, you know, like sometimes I had the first cigarette I used to smoke at some point, you know, and I used to smoke, my first cigarette was like high school. We went, you know, to like this excursion. It was in mountain area in Poland, really in winter, cold, when we were hiding, you know, it was all forbidden. So we were hiding on the balcony and like having this cigarette. And seriously, like I haven't been smoking for years now, but whenever I walk past and somebody smokes in winter, and I can have this like frosty air and this puff of their cigarettes kind of hitting me, that's instantly what I see, that balcony me at this, you know, 16 years of age or whatever, and that kind of that straight away. And that's with roses, you know, Amma, the hugging saint, she has this strong smell of sandalwood and rose oil. And also sometimes I just on the bus and I suddenly smell it, and it's like, but once I had the really funny, I have to share it with the smell, because I had a really funny situation in Australia, and I was sitting at the bus and I'm smelling Amma. And there's not at the bus, at the bus stop, there's only one lady sitting next to me, and I'm thinking, Amma, it's like roses and sandalwood, like. So I'm looking at this lady, I'm thinking maybe it's her smelling. So I said, like, what do you use, you know? And she goes, J Lo, so Jennifer Lopez. And I went to the shop and I smelled it, and it was it. It was J Lo. I was thinking I'm smelling Amma, but maybe Amma appeared in the J Lo form. But it was really funny. I was like, oh my god! Like, I had this whole story in my head as well. So it was really hilarious. But yeah, I think smell definitely, music, smell, anything, like, yeah, sense.
It is such a huge part of growing, because the sense of smell is the first sense we develop as soon as we are born. And smell and memory are all connected in the limbic system. So as soon as you smell something, you can definitely travel in time. And it is, interestingly enough, in my cellular memory release therapies or in my past life regression therapies, I always use scents and smells, because they can help you travel in time. And sometimes to release few negative cellular memories, we need to travel back to that time. Not every spiritual therapist or teacher agrees with traveling back to your past. But I do think that sometimes we need to revisit that place to be able to release that particular cellular memory. And smell can unlock cellular memory in an amazing way. Cellular memory, it's in epigenetics, it's one of my passions. Tarot decks and oracle decks are my addiction, let's say. And I collect oracle decks and I love it. But cellular memory and how it works and it plays out in a life from the time of the Big Bang in evolution, it's one of my passions. Like I want to dedicate my whole life to that.
Yeah, it's really interesting subject, because very often intellectually we think we've done the work, we ready, we managed to, you know, move past some hurdle or some trauma or something, and then yet it revisits it back with some body memory. And often when we don't really deal with it on the like cellular level, it's hard sometimes to really pass it, and it's frustrating to your head, because your head thinks, well, I've already done this work, I felt like I've done it, I don't feel any hang-ups, you know, on the mental level. I'm not crying, mentioning whatever my father, mother, or something, I should be fine. And yet there's still something holding us back. And I think you're right, like scent or body movement or any type of body therapy is really helpful with this therapeutic kind of spoken word therapy. Yeah. So do you use tarot with oracles? Would you mix decks, or would you just, yeah?
Yes, I definitely use tarot and oracles all at once. So for me, tarot is a very informative tool, and it gives me a lot of information. Oracles come when there is that advice and that gentle nurturing. So I don't find tarot very nurturing, but I find oracles super nurturing. So if I'm displaying all your problems, because I tell my clients, I'm sorry that I am kind of pointing out the negative things, because a lot of people think that tarot is negative. But I think that you're not here for me to solve what is good in your life. We are here to make what you're not happy with in your life better. So we have to talk about the negative things, the things that make you uncomfortable, because they are the things that we want to change. So the tarot, it's always going to show me a little bit of negativity. And then the oracle decks come to give that advice and that nurturing. So it's that hug that you get in a counseling session from the counselors, which in this case are my guides, my angels that speak through the guides.
Yeah, so actually you would say that you work with like your personal guides. You would open up to those beings and like ask them for help, yeah, during your readings?
Definitely. I am communicating with them. I'm basically the vessel and the translator of what they are wanting to communicate. And for people that it's very scientific and people that it's not very open-minded that comes to my readings, I just tell them, look, I'm just reading your etheric field. And there is this electromagnetism around you, and I can tap into that and I can read the electromagnetism, and a lot of information comes out of that. But when someone is really open, I can really say, look, this is what they are telling me. And it has taken a lot of practice, and it has taken a lot of time for me to have the confidence to be able to communicate and express what they are saying. And a lot of times when I was starting to read tarot and oracles, people would kind of question me, and people would say like, no, that doesn't sound right. And I will back off into what I have said, into what I could listen, into what I was feeling with all my heart. And I would kind of try to please them. Now, after 20 years, when someone says, that sounds different, that doesn't sound about a decision I will make. I said, look, I trust what they say, and this is what they are saying. And some amazing things have happened because people so remembers that. They say, wow, you told me that was the path, that it was my life, or the course my life was gonna take. And at that time I wasn't ready to receive that information, and I couldn't believe that was gonna happen. But it's actually, all come to that. So you really learn to don't listen to what they want to hear, but to listen the truth. And I always recommend my students and people that it's practicing tarot, that in your prayer and in your intention, when you start a reading, you must ask for the truth and only the truth, and the truth from the highest good of all, and the truth that it's immutable, and the truth that comes from the all that is, because that will make you do a very accurate reading.
That's really beautiful, because I think you're right. I wanted to ask you for an advice for maybe people who are still, not trusting the intuition, because it is a test of trust. And I think often it takes time, because you need that feedback back to really also believe yourself, that give yourself permission to believe it, because also you can really think you always speaking the truth, but then you never get the feedback from your clients. It's hard to verify, am I like bullshitting myself, or is it actually helping somebody? But when you start getting the feedback, and that takes time, because then you have to wait for the people to really go through it. So I went through a very similar type of lesson, I think. And maybe most of the readers, when you start reading professionally, that's when it kind of happens, that you go through the tests of like, can you do it, and can you trust what the cards are showing you, or what what your senses are bringing to you, and does it help people, first of all, because that's why we do it, and to have this kind of confidence that you can say it and you can stay with it. Because sometimes 7 months, I did a reading that was a good example in 2016, so now it's like 3 years ago, and to a lady. And basically kind of I had the sense, I didn't get any feedback from her, but that to me then meant, oh, she didn't like it, it probably was too full on or too much or whatever. And I was kind of like really taken aback, how we feel like insecure in the beginning when you start, and you kind of like, it's okay. So I just received an email from her now, 2019, 3 years later, telling me about that reading, which I already then took like, oh, that wasn't good, how much it has changed in her life. And I was just going, I just have to trust it. I have to trust it. And it's a really, it's an interesting kind of mix of factors that bring you that confidence, I think. Don't you agree?
Yes, definitely. And for me, I think the best feedback is that I have had clients that have come to me since the year 2001, and they still asking me for readings. And that to me is like, wow, I have been doing tarot readings for you for years and years and years and years. And they are actually some of my bestest friends that I started practicing tarot readings with, and amazing things happen. And they still my clients now after many, many, many years, which is great. I also think that tarot, yoga, meditation, spirituality, personal development, they are all a practice. And I really don't resonate when people call themselves, I'm a master healer, or I'm a master tarot reader, or I am a master yogi, I'm a master meditator, because for me they are practices. And the more I know about tarot, and the more I read oracles, the more I realize that I don't know anything. So many people has asked me, can you please teach me how to read tarot? And I'm like, what? I don't even know how to read tarot myself. It's such a, once you open the door to tarot, it's like astrology. It's a never ending practice. Meditation, it's a never ending practice. So the best we can do is the best we can do at that particular time. And the only thing that we have to do to master it, if we ever master it, it's to keep practicing. It's a practice.
Totally, I so agree. I couldn't agree more. And I also think that, they also connected. I don't think you can be a good tarot reader if you're not practicing any form of self-development or self-knowledge yourself. You basically, the deeper you go within yourself, I think the deeper you go with your tools, the deeper you see tarot. I haven't known so much about tarot 5 years ago, but it's not only through learning about tarot that I know more about tarot. Tarot is like a reflection of life. So the more I know about life, the more I know about myself, the more I know about this tool and how to use it. And I'm totally agree with you. You never arrive at the point, I've done it, thanks. Now I'm just like, sitting on my fucking throne. I'm perfect. Like, all come to me. I'm the master of tarot now. It's true. You're always learning, and the more you know, the more you don't know, the more you see how deep it is and how many levels that has. And yeah, but that's why I think, there can be tarot readers who read, let's say, at the beginning we all were there, you kind of start to develop the practice, then you go deeper, then you go deeper, then you go deeper, but it never stops that you develop your knowledge. It never stops because life never stops. Yeah.
Oracle cards combine so many modalities within themselves, like numerology, astrology, color therapy, and wow, I would love to be an expert on all of those. And then I might say, I know how to read tarot.
Yeah, but it's still true, because it's the same motion of, you're not necessarily a great therapist just because your life is perfect and sorted and you have no issues. Like, you can still help people, even though you can still teach people about tarot or about oracle cards, even though you never probably become the master of it, because as much as you're alive, you probably will be learning. That's it. So I think also, putting people on pedestal or expecting of teachers to be the masters, that's something we have to look inside as well for. It's just this waiting for the messiah or waiting for the rescuer constantly. It's changing now. It's like finding the community, finding the strength within ourselves. But yeah, it's interesting how many of us are still expecting, he's probably not a very good therapist if he, doesn't have a wife, or like, look at his life, or she's not a good doctor. She has a cancer. It's like, what does one have to do with the other?
Yes, and that is something that a lot of people that it's training to be a practitioner or an energy healer, a Reiki healer, any modality, that we really beat ourselves when we are sick. It's like if we weren't human beings. And it took me years for me to have a call and be able to be okay with having a cold or having a flu, because it is like, no, now I'm a Reiki healer, I never again I'm gonna get a cold. It's like, what? Where did I get this idea from?
Yeah, I know, it's so funny. Hey? Like, I went through this as well. Like, when you hear, like, when you argue with your husband and he goes like, maybe go and meditate. When you're like, you meditate, so you shouldn't argue ever. Never say fuck. And by the way, just like always be a good girl, Yeah, that's quite funny. Okay, Monica, I think what's your favorite essential oil? Just before I ask the last.
Ooh, my favorite essential oil is
Right now.
helichrysum.
Oh, is it? I still don't know how that smells. I have to go to the shops. In Poland, we don't have too many shops with essential oils that actually are open for you to smell. So whenever I'm in Australia, you have all these amazing health food shops when you can go and just smell the essential oils. Here, not yet. But yeah, there is some in your oracle deck, a few, even spikenard. I don't know how it smells. I never smelled it because it's such an expensive oil and you just don't see it anywhere. Like, so I want to smell some of the oils that I didn't know. And this one also. Why is this one your favorite? What's about this oil? What's special?
I'm just going to show it because I told the artist, this is my favorite oil. So we are going to create an enchantress in here. And my business name is the Enchantress. So this is supposed to represent my essence. And helichrysum, it's a magical oil that reacts with the platelets of your blood. And so it can stop, for most people, it assists with stopping the bleeding. And it's great to help with scars, and it's great to help with repairs of anything. It is also an anti-inflammatory. So if I am in pain, I will take some helichrysum internally as an anti-inflammatory. And I find that works amazingly for me. I just think that the smell of helichrysum, it's a flower that it is it lasts for a long, 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 long time in nature because it dries and then it lasts for a long time. So it is kind of the fountain of youth, if you want to think it in that way. It's actually like an oil that I feel it's it feels like if it was from a different dimension, a different planet, and it can help us so much. It is, when you get a therapeutic grade helichrysum, it is a very expensive oil, but I don't, that's one of the things that I said, well, I work really hard, and I work really hard for a beautiful home and for beautiful food and beautiful oils and beautiful things. I'm not a person that it's into jewels, jewelry, or into clothing of branding. I am into oracle cards and essential oils and nice food. I'm really into my nutrition too. So I buy good food, good essential oils, good oracle cards.
Yeah, yeah, okay, cool. So I think we're going to be wrapping up, even though every time I'm like, I don't want to make it much longer than an hour, but I could talk with most of my guests for like, so tell me. But usually the last question that I ask is something practical, because most of my guests are kind of, connected to tarot or oracle cards or divination in some form or another. And can you share with us some practical way of how you like to use cards so that people maybe could try at home?
Yes. The first thing is that I think a good psychic, it's a psychic that can turn on the clairs and can turn them off. And the best way to turn on and off your spiritual senses is by prayer. So I always recommend to do a starting prayer and an ending prayer. And then you know that once you have said that prayer, you have started a reading, and whatever happens after you have said that prayer, it's part of the reading. So if an airplane goes past, it's part of the reading. If someone knocks the door, that's part of the reading. And then once you close the reading, you can dissolve any etheric cords that you have created with the person that you're reading for, or any issues that they might have, any energies that you might have connected through the reading. Because we are a complete open channel when we are reading, so I always like to close that channel. And sometimes if I don't, I go to do school pickup or go to the supermarket or get on with my day, and I am so fussy. My head, I can't think properly, and I'm connecting to everyone. I can see illnesses around the supermarket and things floating, which is not on. We don't like. I don't like to be like that, and I don't recommend that to anyone. And great exercise that I love to teach my students, it's about creating a story. So if, for example, you have any oracle deck or any tarot deck, a great way to practice is by starting a story. And I'm going to show you an example. So just shuffle your cards and off you go. One day, there was this ruler in this village. And there was also sages as part of this village that study all the traditions of the village. The hard-working men of the village wanted some freedom. And they try in the best way to party around every night in their homes to be able to have that sense of freedom. The warriors were in between the rulers and were in between the workers and the farmers of the village. But the sense for freedom was spreading amongst the warriors. One day, a wise man talked to the warriors, and angel songs started playing in the background. the children were on a safe spot before the warriors took on to the rulers. And the battle started. A new queen was selected that was more nurturing and had more space for love and amazingness, because women, we are beautiful. We shall rule the world. No, I'm joking. So yeah, that is my story.
That's really cool. Yeah, I love this storytelling with the tarot, with oracle cards as well. And I think this is a beautiful practice also, but I really especially love that prayer advice. I usually light a candle with the intention of whatever, uh, when I let the candle burn down, and then that means that whatever was mine stays with me, whatever is with my client goes with my client. But I love the idea of prayer. Do you use any specific prayer, or did you write it yourself, or do you use any traditional prayers? How does it work with your prayer?
Yeah, I wrote the prayer myself, but I also have that candle sense that when I start lighting the candles, I start feeling connected. So candles are also part of my ritual. I find rituals extremely important, and I think any type of ritual, it's necessary at any age. At any age, if you are like a 7-year-old in this day and age, your ritual might be to get up, run around the house, play a little bit, and get on your iPad. If you have an iPad and you're 7, my kids don't, but a lot of kids do. And for all people, their ritual is to get up, maybe brush their teeth, and maybe do their morning tablets. So I find that we all have rituals, and rituals are extremely important. So whatever you create as your ritual before you start a tarot reading or an oracle reading, it's great. My prayer specifically asks, as I said before, for the truth and only the truth. And it also asks to open up my senses so I can see, hear, know, feel, and smell the truth.
Wow.
And only the truth for the highest good of all. I also like to connect to the God within me, and I ask for that as well in this prayer.
That's beautiful, because I think I just wanted to specifically ask for that, because I think sometimes people are afraid to write their own prayers, or they're not sure if it's, if it's okay. And there is this split between the traditional prayer, how do you use it in the like this can be just sometimes a bit confusing. So I just think it's wonderful to give yourself this permission to write your own prayers and to ritualize your simple ordinary things you do in life, because that brings this sanctum, that's something sacred into your life by doing very simple tasks, even like brushing your teeth or combing your hair or taking your pills. So thank you for that, Monica. It was beautiful.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, thank you so very much for agreeing to share your beautiful knowledge and making it so versatile and empowering, and I hope very inspiring for people as well. I hope maybe, we'll see you at some point. If the series is going to develop as I wish it to, then maybe, we see each other again and we talk some more and more in depth about certain things. But for now, I think, thank you so much. And I wish you, all the abundance, and hopefully maybe see you in Europe. You never know. So if you're here, we'll be in touch. We can catch up at some point. Europe is small, not like Australia. And yes, thank you
so much. I'm so grateful and blessed to have had the opportunity to share this hour with you. I think you are an amazing lady, and all you said, so be it. Yes. Of course.
So be it. Thank you, my friend. So thanks everyone for watching, and I see you guys for the next episode, I hope. Bye. Thank you. See you, Monica.
Bye.